how we doing? Just thought I'd do a video, just a random video really, about random things. Just thought, hopefully even if it just cheers up one person, then fantastic, I've done my job. Usually my videos are pretty, well, not funny I suppose, but a bit entertaining here and there. So hopefully this one will be the same. Fingers crossed you're all good and doing well in this pretty shocking state of affairs at the moment with the virus going around. Me personally, I'm healthy. I've got a bit of a runny nose, but anyone that's done Club 100 and BUKC in the winter months will probably have a runny nose right now. I have it from pretty much from October till about end of spring, because it's just constantly running, because I'm always out in the cold and the wet, windy rain and stuff like that. So me personally, yeah, apart from that, I'm good. Thankfully, my family and friends are all good as far as I'm aware. Of course, we don't always know about this virus if we've got it or not, but as far as I'm aware, touch wood, we're all good. We're all right. So hopefully, same your end. Keep safe, keep well, and keep yourself entertained. I think that's the key, really. I've stopped instructing, obvious reasons. I stopped on Friday anyway last week, and the main thing I said to my students, my pupils, before when I cancelled my lessons was, use this time to try and get a positive from it. Really, if it can change your life or change something in your life that's a negative into a positive, then you should do it and give it a go. Especially with all this spare time on our hands we've got, or a lot of us have got anyway. Whether that be start some exercise at home. Me personally, I've got boxing gloves here because I've got a big boxing bag in the garden that I've been using and smashing the hell out of. I've got a skipping rope. I've got weights upstairs. I've got a gym mat there. So I'm trying to get a bit fitter. I've lost a few kilos since the last time I drove a go-kart at GYG a few weeks back. So I'm trying to be a bit healthier. People out there, I don't know, stop smoking or do something. Just I don't know. It's hard, I know, but just try and get a positive from this weird time. For me, it's very weird because normally I'm working flat out 2 jobs most of the time. When I was a bit younger, I had 3 jobs. I've always had 2 or 3 jobs ever since I was about sort of 18, 19 years old, which is insane. And to be able to sit indoors and just not really have anything to do is completely new to me. Of course, Christmas and stuff like that, you have the odd day here and there where you got some time off. But my dad's at work, who I share a place with, and it's just weird. I've got nothing really to do, so in a way it's kind of nice because I'm allowed to recharge my batteries, and I'm planning ahead and I'm working out my next steps in life. Do I carry on instructing, which I need to do really. I bought a new car that's sitting on the driveway. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it on my social media. Lovely red Fiesta ST line. Lovely car. So, it's just a world of unknown at the moment. But it sounds weird to say it's nice, but just to sit here and just have, at the moment, limited stress and just limited worries. I know it's a very worrying time, but I've kind of blocked it out for a bit, just trying to just remain positive. So, not sure if you're the same for you guys. I know a lot of people working from home anyways, but for me, obviously I can't work, being in that close proximity with someone. So, unless I'm, training a key worker, which I haven't got any on my books, then I've got no instructing to do. So, I've got to think about where do I go from now. Do I look for some new jobs, be a, delivery driver for a supermarket, for example? Or do I sit on my rear end and just ride this out? It's a tough one because I think sitting indoors is the best way forward. To keep, the only person I'm interacting with is my dad at the moment, so that's good, keeping safe indoors. But on the other hand, I've got to worry about my money and my finances. I could probably go get a few months and be okay. But beyond that, which it looks like this is going to be, what do I do? Do I go out and get a job and then expose myself to possibly the virus out there? Hi, Mitz. You okay? Can you see her in there? You can't quite see her. She's coming. But yeah, so it's a tough one. It's don't know what to do at the moment. But again, I'm not gonna worry about it. There's worse things out there at the moment. That's a big problem in this world. Me just not having a job for a couple of weeks, months or whatever, I'll get by. I'll sort it out. So yeah, it is what it is. But I hope you guys are all okay out there, and we have a positive outcome from all this at the end of it all. So the reason for this video. So I used to be friends with a guy, Louis Farouk. No, not Louis Farouk. Not Louis Farouk. Lou Walsh. No, not Lou Walsh. Definitely not Lou Walsh. Carl Lewis. No, not Carl Lewis. Lewis Capaldi. No, not Lewis Capaldi. Lewis Hamilton. Obviously. Oh, how did it slip my mind? Yeah, Lewis Hamilton. I thought I'd just share a little bit about Lewis and about growing up a little bit with him. Not a major part of my racing career, but obviously he talks about it more than I do. I hate talking about it. I've got to be honest. It's weird. It's just, I've got to sort of, be quite happy about the fact that it's quite an important thing. One of probably the most successful driver in world motorsport kind of looked up to me as a driver. It's just quite weird, it's quite amazing. And I've got to sort of take it by the scruff of the neck now because, he retired a few years and, it'll be Lando Norris or, George Russell and, they'd be talking about kids they looked up to. And, my golden era of karting, with Jensen's retired now, Lewis has got a few more years left. Gary Paffett never quite made it to F1, although he was a test driver for many years. Anthony Davidson, again, bless him, didn't quite crack F1. He had a good go at it though, great test driver. Daniel Weldon, bless him, was an awesome, driver in America, IndyCar and stuff like that. 2 times Indy 500 winner. He never quite made it to F1, rightly or wrongly, I don't know. But yeah, those people were either retired, bless them, or Justin Wilson and Daniel obviously passed away, which is tragic. But that era of karting is starting to sort of flush out of Formula One, and it's quite a key time. Sorry, I've got to run and literally blow my nose because it's like a tap, and obviously, so hold fire, stay there, be back in a mo. Back in 2 seconds. Not going to touch the door handle because that's wrong. So just blowing my nose. 2 seconds, guys, I'll be with you. Oh. Now I'm going to wash my hands, kids. Remember to wash your hands, 20 seconds. Time me, soap's going on. Taps going on. Rubbing my hands together under that lovely warm water. Oh yes. That's it. And my hands are in bits at the moment because I've washed them too much. Back of my hands are cracking up. But yeah, got to do it. Just washing my hands. Lovely warm water. Oh yes. Very warm water. In very hot water. Yep. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Yep. Very hot water. Very hot water. Yep. I'm back. So yes. Well, yeah. Where was I? So yeah, drivers in F1 from my era are getting phased out because they're getting old, basically, like myself. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. But some of my mates, away from motorsport, we'll go down the pub or whatever, or go out on the lash, which is quite rare at the moment. But we occasionally do it. Obviously, can't do it at the moment. But they'd bring a friend along who, I don't know. They bring someone along, go and get introduced to them, and then I hear you never guess what? This guy, he beat Lewis Hamilton. I'm like, oh Christ, please not that one. And yeah, then I got to waffle on for half hour to an hour, talking about Lewis Hamilton and my racing days and what I did and why I didn't make it to Formula One and all that sort of stuff. What happened and yeah, if I could play like a videotape and just go, yeah mate, have a listen to that. I'm just gonna pop to the bar, talk to some chicks. But yeah, it is what it is. But the only time it's a good time to talk about it actually is on dating apps. Actually, it does go down rather well, especially the stuff with the princes and Prince William and Harry. that's a cracker. They love that shiz. So that's always good on Tinder. But yeah, other than that, I don't generally like talking about it. So the main question I get asked, back then, did Lewis show sort of the signs of being a great driver? Clear answer to that is no. No, he did not. And looking at myself, comparing myself to him in karts, it took me 4 years of practice to get to a pretty decent standard at club level. Okay, so I don't agree with the words natural talent. I honestly don't think there is such a thing. I think people's brains pick up things faster than others. But natural talent, it doesn't exist. I honestly don't think it does. You can't jump in a go-kart or swing a golf club or a racing car, jump in a racing car, or do any other sports, tennis, whatever, and just pick it up straight away. I just don't think it happens. So natural talent in me, I don't agree with. I think it's a lot of practice. So for me being an example, 4 years of practice. My dad used to mechanic and help out Daniel Weldon, or Dan Weldon as people called him, in America. Yeah, and used to get a lot of information from Clive Weldon, Daniel's dad. And obviously my dad transferred that to me when I started racing. And I remember late 80s, I think it was probably 89, maybe early 90s, me and Daniel Weldon were just hacking around Rye House in a cadet car. And Daniel was 3 times British champion at the time. So me to bomb around with him is pretty amazing. The amount I could learn by just literally trying to hang on to him. He was top of his game. Me, I barely raced. I don't think I'd raced at that time at all. It was quite good. Quite a big thing, So the advice I give people in Club 100, if I'm not giving them tuition at the time and in a race, try and stick on to that fast guy for as long as you can, just even for a couple of corners. Just watch what he's doing, where he's braking, and try and watch his technique. And it's free coaching if you like. But so that day with Daniel Weldon many years ago was quite cool, and I managed to hold my own actually, which is pretty amazing considering he was 3 times British champion. Obviously, racecraft wise is another story. So you can go out and be the fastest driver, out there. But if you can't overtake and you can't race, it's an absolute waste of time. In my racing career, I was never really always the quickest, but my racecraft was, without sounding big-headed, was 10 out of 10. I used to, be on pole position for the finals. I'd never really pulled away and went off into the distance. I used to have a train of karts behind me and just managed to keep in front by using my brain and be able to overtake and using my late braking. And speaking of late braking, Mr. Hamilton's story about his dad standing where I was and then moving 10 metres further down for him to use as a braking reference didn't happen. Sorry, Lewis, mate, I think you're great, but didn't happen. It's a bit like Günther Steiner, the Haas F1 team manager, going, Roman, come on, hey mate, let's go to the other side of the circuit. That's where Lewis is braking there, mate, yeah? Right there. I want you to brake 20 metres further down, alright? Do it. It just don't happen. I was at the top of my game back then. I was British champion, or about to be British champion. I was number 2 at the time. You just can't brake 10 metres later than anyone in a go-kart if they're at the top of their game. I'm sorry, impossible. Impossible! Alright, so, yeah. And he did get in the way a lot. He was spinning off all over the place. He was torpedoing people into the hairpin at Rye House. Just completely not braking, spinning off onto the grass, like Lewis said, spin off, crash. And he did. He's exactly right, he did. That's probably why, because he's braking pretty much on the apex, which is not a good thing going into a hairpin. So yes, it took him a while to get going. And in my years of karting, when I was British champion in '94, obviously Daniel Weldon was champion in 1990, or 88, 89, 90. Jensen Button, champion in 91. 92 was a lad called Tom Sisley. 93, Mike Spencer, very good driver, Mike. Still see him nowadays, saw him at PF the other week. And 94 was myself. Okay, and then in 94, probably the top 10 of the 15 drivers moved up to juniors. So Lewis and a few other drivers, Mike Conway, I think a kid called Ben Moss, Marcus Fulcher, who were knocking around the top 10, 15 in 94, then had a chance to go for the title in 95 because a lot of us moved up. And somehow Lewis, out of the blue, started winning races and became champion that year. In the last round at Shellington, he beat Mike Conway in the last race of the day, I think, in the final. So that's pretty mad. So yeah, but the race he was British champ. Sorry, the race he first won, his first club event that he won, was tragically at Kimbolton, December '94. So again, we all moved up at this point, end of the year. Once the championship's over, all of the cadets who could go up to juniors did so to get practice for the following year. So, but tragically, a friend of ours, Daniel Spence, brother of Jamie Spence, XF3 and touring car driver, tragically got killed. A good friend of ours, good friend of the family, probably one of the worst experiences of our lives. Absolutely tragic. Saw it with my own eyes. I was watching at the side of the track, saw the accident. Won't go into details, but yeah, poor lad got killed. His funeral was absolutely awful. Probably the worst thing I've ever seen or been involved with. You know, a kid's funeral, absolutely awful. But going back to the race at Kimbolton, was Lewis's first win in cadets. Or the race that Dan got killed in, so he'd probably rather erase that from his memory, to be fair. But yeah, and then again, '95, he started smashing it. So yeah, natural talent. No, he was. You can see some of my YouTube videos of him in it. He wasn't very good, but he hooked up in the end, didn't he? So yeah. Another question I get asked was, you know, do you get jealous? Did you wish that was you? Could you have done what he's done? There's no point in me getting jealous of anyone who's been successful in motorsport. I just think that's just a horrible way of living, you know, having that on your shoulder. Of course, I wish it was me, of course. Do I think I could do it? I think I could, but not been given the chance. I think Lewis, you know, when I was British champion in '94, it wasn't really televised. It didn't have a major sponsor. And then at the end of '94, Martin Hines created a series called Champions of the Future. He got on board with McLaren Mercedes F1 team, and it was kind of like a secondary British champs. We fell out with the Zip team at that point, who I used to race for, and we didn't do the events. And obviously Ron Dennis, head of McLaren, spotted Lewis, win the British Championships, and win the Champions of the Future, and pretty much, you know, the rest is history. So, bit of bad luck, bit of timing, born a bit later, I don't know. But yeah, it is what it is. I can't be jealous of, you know, I think it's, again, Lewis and Jensen, people of that era, you know, the golden era of karting as people call it. It's pretty cool that they've got to Formula 1 and done what they've done, you know. So Lewis is pretty special, Jensen's very good. Could I have done what they did? I'm pretty sure. You know, when I was growing up, I never wanted to be an F1 driver really. I wanted to be a rallycross driver. I loved rallycross. But you know, of course, we was all going for F1 at the time. And the one thing I always dreamt about winning, it was never the World Championship, it was always the British Grand Prix. The British Grand Prix was the pinnacle of me of racing. That's the one thing, a Mansell mania. You know, I loved old Nige. I can't really stand him now, I've got to be honest. He just waffles on, as always, about injuries and moaning and stuff. But as a driver, what a driver. And those times at Silverstone back in the late 80s, early 90s, you'll never see again. I think it's a bit divided with Lewis, and not everyone's a massive Lewis fan, but Nige, I think 95% of everyone at Silverstone wanted Nige to win, probably more. And what days they were. And, you know, winning the British Grand Prix with a crowd running onto the track, actually, to me, is the best thing in the world. You know, unfortunately, Jensen never managed to do it. I know Lewis has, but for me, that would have been the pinnacle of my career, winning the British Grand Prix. So I always dreamt of. Obviously, never going to happen, but that's pretty damn cool. So some stories about Lewis growing up. I've got a couple, nothing major. We were friends for about 18 months, 2 years. Stayed over at each other's houses a few times in the summer holidays. Remember, we were kids, so I was a bit older. I'd have been 10, 11, he'd have been 9, 10. He's just a little bit younger than me, Lewis. So one story over here in Benfleet, actually, where I used to live down the road. Lewis stayed over. My mum gave us a £10 note to go and get some milk from the shop. The town shop's called Tar Pots. There's a pub there called Tar Pots, so the whole place we called Tar Pots. So we strutted down there, we walked down the road, yeah, like, Lewis, mate, do you want a KFC? He's like, yeah, let's have KFC. So we've gone into KFC with our money, had KFC, spent a good chunk of that money for the milk, because my mum wanted change, obviously. Had a KFC, so Tart Pots KFC, you had Motorsport Royalty in there, and Lewis Hamilton. So then we went to the sweet shop, and I remember the sweet shop because there's a guy in front of us, and the dates probably match up, that he was buying about 100 lottery tickets. It's just as a lottery kicked off. So he bought an extortion amount of lottery tickets, and I think it was something like 100 quid's worth, which is why I remember it, thinking, bloody hell. And we got some sweets as well with that £10 note. KFC, some sweets. And then on the way back, I went, should we get a bus back? It was literally one stop. He went, yeah, all right then. So we jumped on the bus, and we completely forgot about the milk and had no change. So my mum was absolutely livid. Absolutely livid. Another story, we stayed at his this time, and we stayed with Anthony's house and his stepmum, and then Anthony was going to work, as was his stepmum, so we got dropped off to Lewis's real mum's house, and somewhere we got hold of a fishing rod. Yeah, so me and Lewis Hamilton went fishing. Yeah, we had no idea what we were doing, literally no idea. We were hooking these massive carp with a loaf of bread and a fishing rod. Didn't know what we were doing. Had some random bloke trying to help us. You know, don't talk to strangers, as you told as kids, but he could have easily bundled us into the back of a van or something. But yeah, and we went fishing. Never caught a thing. Almost did. I think the line kept snapping, so we had the wrong line. But yeah, I went fishing with Lewis Hamilton. What else? Another time we went Quasar, or laser tag as it's called now. That was pretty cool. In Stevenage, we literally had the whole place to ourselves, I think, just shooting each other. Pretty cool. And another little story I remember is I was in his, I think it was a spare room or Lewis's room, I can't remember, and I'm sitting on his bed, and he was walking towards me quite gingerly, and I'm like, all right mate, and he was like, yeah Nick, have a look at this, and I could see him was carrying like a little paper bag, very strange. I'm like, right, and he's like, these are rattlesnake eggs. I'm like, what you got them for, mate? And no, don't worry about it, they're not hatched. And someone from one of his relatives, like his nan, has come back from Egypt or something and brought them back as like a souvenir. I'm like, okay mate, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, got to be careful with them though, because you know they could hatch. I'm like, right, obviously believing it completely as a kid, you know, completely gullible. He went, they'll hatch if you mix them with water. Little did I know, he had a little cup of water in his other hand, but I didn't spot that because I'm looking at the fixated with these eggs in this bag. Obviously I can't see him. He went, do you want to have a look? And as he leant over, he had the other hand with his glass of water and spilt over the bag with these eggs in, and I had some sort of mechanism inside that made them shake like this. Obviously I'm thinking there are real rattlesnakes in there. So I've like, literally jumped out of my skin and fell off the bed, I think, to which Lewis was rolling around the floor, ruffling, wasn't a term back then, rolling around on the floor, laughing his head off. So yeah, another story. Another cool story, my very first PC was built by Anthony Hamilton. He used to build PCs for people. It was a Tulip 486. So kids nowadays, you have no idea what 486 is. Very old computer, obviously back in the 90s they were. But he also built our first laptop, which we used for karting. We had some software called Cartronics. God knows who built the software, but we used to use it. Have a little transponder in our car, used to do the revs and stuff like that. So Anthony built both our laptop and computer. It's pretty cool. I remember on the PC, I deleted the entire hard drive apart from Windows. I think it was Windows 3.1 back then. But reason being, to create enough hard drive space to install Microprose Grand Prix. Oh yes. I remember going around Daniel Welch's house, one of my friends at the time, and he used to have a really good PC, and he had Grand Prix on it, Microprose Grand Prix by Jeff Craymond. What a game! Seriously, back then, this thing was like a sim is now to you guys. It was absolutely insane. It was so good for its time. Brilliant. Had all the F1 cars from the 91 season. All the cars were right, apart from the Colonial AGS. The wrong colours, they were mixed up. But no, what a game it was. It was incredible. And I remember me and Jay Howard, my friend Jay Howard, used to come over. We used to put karting names in, and European karting names, and yeah, it was really cool. What a game that was. We used to spend hours and hours on it. I remember you had like a weird password sheet to enter the game, and I didn't have the sheet, but I remember just the one of the words from the password, and we had to restart it and restart it literally hundreds of times before the one come up that I remembered. So I remember that bizarrely. That's what you get for ripping off games, I suppose. But I used to have like 9 floppy disks with this game on. I had to install them one at a time to get the game working. But what a game it was. Legendary. And also, obviously, Lewis used to race radio control cars. I remember he used to rock up with a Kyosho Inferno, which is like a real fast RC car back then, you know, nitro RC car. And man, it was quick. But Anthony used to fix mine. I used to have electric ones. I used to have at the time a Cougar 2, 2-wheel drive by Schumacher. Nothing to do with Michael Schumacher, just the make of RC car, Schumacher. And he used to do all my batteries, soldering them all together, installing my motors and stuff, and clean my motors and strip them down, and do all sorts of stuff for me, which is quite cool. Thinking back about it, we used to, you know, drive my car up and down the road outside. It was pretty quick for its time. It was pretty cool. So Anthony did that for me, which was pretty awesome. And he come to Benfleet one day and picked up my kart for Lewis to race. So he actually raced one of my karts, and he left a little memento on it. Yes, this is actually from Lewis's. Well, this is actually Lewis's nose cone, because I never had these type of nose cones. This is a zip type nose cone. I have my own special ones made. My dad knew someone used to do our own nose cones. So if you look at all my pictures, my nose cones, nothing like this one. So Lewis bolted his own bodywork on, or his dad did, Anthony, and left this on the car. So little did we know back then that Lewis was going to do what he was going to do, and I've kept it in the shed. Well, it was in the shed garage for a long period of time, but actually this is legitimately Lewis's nose cone. It'd be nice for him to sign it one day, maybe, if I can see him at some point. Yeah, I swear on my daughter's life, this is legitimately, genuinely Lewis Hamilton's. So yeah. Oh, they introduced me to peanut butter. Never had it before. I remember sitting on his lounge floor, all of us eating peanut butter sandwiches. Very nice indeed. Been a fan ever since. Thank you, the Hamilton family, for that. So yes, I thought I'd just do some videos and stuff, and you know, hopefully if this cheers up one bloody person, then great. You know, I'm not the funniest of guys. I'm not a YouTube, you know, sensation. I haven't got cameramen all around me, or you know, guys doing my makeup and stuff like that. I'm wearing a green t-shirt with parrots on, so I'm failing straight away. But yeah, thought I'd give it a go. I might do some more videos. Got some other ideas in the pipeline. Again, if you've got any ideas you want me to cover, anything, you know, any tips or anything like that, give me a shout and I'll happily post some videos for as long as this goes. But until the meantime, as I know what I'm doing with life, I'm here, not bored, because I'm keeping myself entertained. Again, I've been watching, you know, World War II in colour. Fantastic program, and you know, I've always had a soft spot for. Sounds a bit weird for World War II, but fascination as a kid. I've always, you know, found it fascinating with, you know, the Germans and technology and stuff from the start of the war in 1939 to the end of it. The technology boom, and you know, the tanks, how they evolved, the guns and aircraft, you know, jets at the end of World War II. I think the Nazi Germany done some horrendous things, and that's unquestionable. They're absolutely barbaric, you know, completely awful things I won't even talk about. But some of the stuff they did and created was quite amazing. So World War II in colour, that's quite cool. If you haven't seen Band of Brothers, watch it. It's like Saving Private Ryan. If you haven't seen that, watch that. But like 10 hours worth. So good, so good. Great mini-series by HBO, Band of Brothers. And the Pacific's quite good as well. Watch that. But yeah, again, I'm keeping fit. I've got boxing gloves here. I've got a punch bag out in the garden. So I'm keeping myself busy. Again, we should be keeping ourselves entertained and busy. And, you know, hopefully when this all blows over, we'll made some positive changes. So until then, until the next video, guys, I'll say farewell and yeah, take it easy. Bye bye. Sorry, guys, back again. Sorry, just want to say two things actually. Just a big shout out to NHS staff. You know, they've been absolutely incredible. They're flat out already at the moment. Sounds like it's going to get a lot worse for them. So you know, well done to them. My mum works at Basildon Hospital. She's kind of in the thick of things at the moment. So big. Massive well done to my mum for getting stuck in. She's not far off 70. Sorry, mum, got to say it. But so yeah, she's healthy at the moment. Touch wood. Stays the same, which is good. You know, fair play to my mum for doing that. You know, a lot of people are risking their own health for this virus at the moment. So big thanks to my mum and also my dad, who's just a delivery driver for Co-op. But turns out his job's bloody important at the moment. So my dad's pushing on 70 as well. So he's going out there, kind of the front line, if you like, and there's me sitting indoors talking to you guys, my viewers. My dad's, busting his nuts out there and delivering food and supplies, which is obviously well needed. So it's a massive well done to them too. Okay, that's it. See you later.